Good morning students and welcome back to your science class. Today we are going to continue with this chapter number 3, Fiber to Fabric, from your science textbook. In the previous class we have learned what do we understand by fiber, that is a thread-like structure, and what is fabric, that is the cloth or yarn that we are using for different purposes, for wearing or for making dress materials, for bed sheets, for different curtains and everything. That fabric is made up of different types of fibers. In class 3 we have learnt about the fibers that we obtain from plant sources, and here we are going to learn about the fibers that we are going to get from animal sources. In the last class we have learnt about the animal fiber, that is wool, that we get from different types of wool yielding animals, namely sheep, camel, goat, etc., yak, and so other organisms or the animals. Now in this class we are going to learn about the production or yielding of silk fiber. Okay, so silk fiber gives us the silk fabric. Okay, this is fiber to fabric, how the fibers are woven into fabric. So the silk fiber we get from silkworm. Okay, the silk fiber we get from the animal known as silkworm, which feeds on the mulberry leaves. Now this feeding is done for getting the silk fiber, and throughout this life cycle the rearing is done, and the rearing of silkworm is known as sericulture. The people associated with rearing of silkworms have this occupation known as sericulture. Okay, so sericulture is a branch of science which deals with rearing of silkworms. Now the life cycle of silkworm starts from adult silk moths. Okay, earlier there are two silk moths, one male and one female. We require two silk moths, male and female. Then these silk moths, when they get adult, what do? The female silk moth, it lays hundreds of eggs, and those eggs are fed on mulberry leaves. Okay, on the mulberry leaves this female gives hundreds of eggs at once, and these eggs, they go on feeding on the mulberry leaves and they become larvae. Okay, so this you can see the larva feeding on leaves. These larvae or larvae are also known as silkworm or caterpillar. Caterpillar is the animal that you must have seen many a times in cartoons and in real life also. So these caterpillars are nothing but the larvae of silk moths, or they are also known as silkworms. Now when these silkworms or the larvae or the caterpillar, they goes on feeding on the mulberry leaves, they just stay on the mulberry leaves, they eat up those leaves, and they become, or they start growing. As soon as they grow up, what do? They start secreting silk fibers. They start secreting silk fibers, and this silk fiber which is in the form of a protein. Okay, they secrete a protein. That protein continuously starts rolling around those larvae. Okay, continuously it starts rolling around the larvae, and it becomes the cocoon. It makes up the cocoon. The cocoon is the outer covering which you are able to see here. Okay, this outer covering which is made on the body of the larvae or silkworm or caterpillar is known as cocoons. Now if we see the internal look of this cocoon, we have the cocoon with developing moth. This was your moth, so it's still continuously developing inside the cocoon. The protein which is secreted from the body of the worm, it gets overlap on the on its body. Okay, starts getting overlap. The protein is secreted from the mouth. Okay, and it starts overlapping on the body and it makes a cocoon. Now inside the cocoon we can see a developing moth which is still developing, and this developing moth is known as pupa. The moth which is developing inside the cocoon is known as pupa. Now this pupa, when it gets matured, the the developing moth becomes adult. What will happen? The cocoon will break. It will break the cocoon, as you may have seen the way a butterfly comes out from its cocoon or comes out from its outer shell. The same way this pupa comes out from breaking this cocoon. It comes out and it becomes an adult moth which has wings. Okay, so the wings of the silk moth arise from its body, and just like a butterfly they are able to fly in the air. Now again the adult silk moths, they meet with each other and the female lays 100 of eggs once again on the mulberry leaves, and on the same mulberry leaves or the mulberry tree they get on feeding, and these eggs, when they hatch out, they give larvae, and these larvae feed on the leaves. After feeding, these larvae or silkworm or caterpillar, they make up a cocoon around their body which is made up of protein, and as the sunlight and temperature, the air and temperature or the sunlight, in those specific conditions this protein becomes harder and a hard shell is formed around the body of the larva, and this hard shell is known as cocoon. Inside this cocoon, what is present? The developing moth, the larva which is still developing, or the larva which is going to convert into a moth with all its wings. Okay, so it's developing inside the cocoon, and this structure is known as pupa. Okay, you can say the transition between silk moth and caterpillar is known as pupa, where here the wings are not there, here the wings have arise, here the wings are developing. Okay, so this developing moth has developing wings, and this is known as pupa, which gets adult and becomes a silk moth. So this is the entire life cycle of a silk moth or a silkworm. Okay, now this entire life cycle is carried out naturally in the environment. It is naturally carried out, but as we have seen that there is a line, or you can say specific occupation related to this rearing and breeding of silkworms, and this is the sericulture. So in this sericulture, what the people are doing, the people are allowing these adult silk moths to meet with each other and lay eggs. The female will lay eggs, and these eggs are collected. After collecting, these eggs are sold to the people who are interested in sericulture, and those people arrange a setup. They arrange the mulberry leaves which are required for feeding of the silk worms, and these mulberry leaves are spreaded on trays. Special kind of trays are made, and specific conditions, the temperature and the air and humidity, everything is controlled over there, and those larvae are free to eat those leaves, or they are free to feed on those leaves, and they become mature. Okay, or they start growing. Okay, as soon as they start growing at a specific growth, they start secreting the protein which they overlap or turn into coils over their bodies, and that becomes harder with specific temperature and humidity conditions, and this becomes the silk fiber. Okay, so the cocoon is made up of silk fiber. Now there's a silk fiber. After 25 to 30 days, this caterpillar starts secreting the silk fibers, and this spin cocoon which are there, they are immersed in hot water. The cocoons are immersed in hot water after some time. When the sericulture related people, they understand how much time is required for this development, and what do they do? They immerse those cocoons, and those cocoons are free from all the dirt, and they are made free from all the external microorganisms and everything, and those cocoons become the silk fiber which is there in the cocoon. It becomes softer, and after this the reeling is done. Okay, the reeling is done means the cocoon is opened up and the fibers are removed, and they are reeled on any specific object. This specific object is known as a reel, and this process, when we overlap it over another thing, it is known as reeling. Okay, so suppose this is your cocoon, and we are removing the fibers from the cocoon and we are reeling it over some other object. Now this process of reeling is done with the help of special machines which unwind the threads. Unwind means they open up the threads or the fibers of silk from the cocoon. Okay, so this is the same way the machine does the reeling process. The silk fibers are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk cloth by the weavers. So the weavers, what do the weavers do? They just woven the silk cloth. They woven the silk fibers to make the silk cloths, and these silk cloths are dyed, or you can say before this weaving, dyeing is done before weaving. So what is done? As we have dyed your wool, as we have dyed the wool fiber, similarly here the silk fiber that we get, which is white in color. The silk fiber is again white in color, and we want in different colors. So after reeling and before weaving, what is done? The dyeing process is done, in which we can dye the silk fiber into desired colors. So this is all about your silk fiber or sericulture and the life cycle of silk moths. Now the sericulture industry is in India, it is carried from a long time ago, and so many females are associated with this sericulture. There is a paragraph on discovery of silk which is given in your textbook, which says that long time ago in China, the silk was emerged from China. Okay, the synthesis of silk was first developed in China. So there was an empress known as Sai Lung Chi. Okay, so this Sai Lung Chi was an empress. She just found out that there are certain mulberry leaves which are damaged, and to find out the cause, she examined those leaves, and she found out that there are some white colored larvae, or you can say the white colored worms which are present on the leaves, and they are eating up the leaves, and they are forming some silky structure around themselves. And accidentally, when one of the cocoons falls on the teacup, she noticed that some shiny fibers are coming out. Okay, so they just discovered that these are the fibers which are coming out, and we can woven those fibers into specific fabrics, and they gave this name as silk. Okay, they gave the name to the fiber as silk. And after long time, the silk was traded to different countries, and this idea of sericulture was spread out in different countries. And this travel, the route they traveled is still called as silk route. The route they travel means the path they followed for educating people about the sericulture or the silk production or the synthesis of silk is known as silk route. So with this we have completed this chapter. I hope you all have understood the chapter. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me, and please see the video carefully to understand the things clearly. Okay, all the best and have a good day. Goodbye.